What is happening? I'm about to show you how to set up your Illustrator files properly for After Effects. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Scott Biersack. He's the one who designed this delicious Klondike K. Check him out at You Bring Fire is his Instagram account, and his website is scottbiersack.com. Links will be below. Of course, just check out this beautiful work. He does lettering and design, and he is a freelancer here in Scottsdale. I'm in Tempe. We are basically in Phoenix. Sucks to suck. True. Preach it. All right, let's get into this. The first thing you need to know is to separate everything into its own layer. Anything that you want to animate, like this Klondike sandwich part coming down, landing right there, you want that to be on its own layer from the ice cream, from the bottom sandwich part, from the milky melted stuff on the bottom, and these little machines that I built to make the Klondike bar. I'm making a Klondike bar factory here. I guess I should show you what I'm making, right? That's nice. There you have it. Klondike factory. All right, so once you've separated everything into its own layer, that you just always got to do that when you're going to be animating. When you import, Command I, hit Command I to import. Learn those keyboard shortcuts. Find your file and use composition and layer size. I'm going to do document size and show you why it's annoying. It's not wrong, it's just annoying in my opinion. When you click the top cookie, the bounding boxes are all the way out here. So if you want to scale anything or move anything around, you have these bounding boxes that aren't on the actual thing, and it just feels disconnected, and I don't like it. There is one reason why I choose to import with document size versus layer size, and I'll show you that in a bit. Pardon me. But for the most part, 95% of the time, I will go for the layer size option here. And what happens when you do footage, I'll show you that one too. It's all just one file. And sometimes you want that, but sometimes you don't. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm going through all of these options so that you see what's going on. This is actually kind of nice. So let's say you can do footage, but you want just one layer. You can choose like, oh, all I want is this one machine part. So then that imports just that one layer from the Illustrator file. I didn't learn that one for a while. It was kind of a mistake one time, and I was like, oh, sweet, that is awesome. But 95% of the time, 90% of the time, it's not scientific. Go with composition and layer size. I prefer that a lot. All right, so that is importing your Illustrator files. And I would also add that I don't animate directly out of the compositions that I've just imported, and I'll show you why. I build my own composition with the same settings that I like. 24 frames per second is what I animate with frequently. 1440 by 1080 is what I set up because I use Instagram and Dribble a lot. If you're confused by that, the quick explanation is that when I change this to 800 up here, it's the same ratio for Dribble, 800 by 600. And if I want it to be exported for Instagram, the height is already 1040 or 1080. And if I change this to 1080, then it's a square, and it's exactly what I need for Instagram. So let's go back, create a new composition, 1440 by 1080, 24 frames per second, about 30 seconds to animate. Cool. And then I'll go into that same composition that I imported, select all the layers, copy, paste them into the new comp, and this is where I animate. And okay, so the reason why I do this is because this will always be the thing that is the correct design. Another way that you could do this is to save out your Illustrator file as, you know, a PNG or something and bring it into After Effects and put transparency on it. But the benefit to this is, let's say this top cookie piece gets bumped and I'm like, it's close, but I don't think it's quite right. And I'm kind of a perfectionist sometimes. So what's nice about this is I can go into the original file that I know is correct. I can hit P for position, hit copy, go into this animation comp, paste the position, and it moves it. Yeah, it puts it right back to where it needed to be. And it's always nice to set yourself up for a quick save, like a save yourself trouble in the future. Another way to save yourself in the future is, or just to be nice to yourself in the future, is labeling your layers. You can do that in After Effects more easily. Actually, I'll show you. Let's do that real quick. I'm going to create some layers here. Boop, 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 boop. All right, let's just say these are all layers that I want to animate. If you select the layer and hit enter, that's how you change the name. Hello, and then hit enter to commit it. Command down, enter, is, enter, and you just go down the list. You see, that's pretty fast, and it's a lot easier to name your files inside of After Effects. So it's not crucial that you name them in Illustrator. I think it's a nice little quicker, faster workflow inside of After Effects. All right, so another thing I see a lot of people asking about is, how do you copy and paste shapes from Illustrator to After Effects? You know, Illustrator has all these nice drawing tools. Let's say you draw the best thing you've ever drawn ever in Illustrator, and you want this guy to be put into After Effects. But you know, this layer, this Illustrator file is not complicated. It's just one shape, and you don't necessarily need to like save this out and bring it into After Effects through the import stuff. You just need it to be a shape layer. You just need to be one shape inside of your animation. So here's how you do it. Hit A to bring up the direct select tool. Select everything that you want copied. Go to After Effects, and you're going to need to put it somewhere. So you put it on a shape layer. And here's the tricky part. You need to draw a shape, and it literally doesn't matter what the shape is. Just draw a shape, and now hit Command V to paste. Boom. Your shape is now living on its own layer inside of After Effects, where you can come in and animate this stuff. So you can animate this guy to go like that. Pretty neat. And boom, there you go. Sweet animation. Easy ease. Wait, this is too long. Whoosh. Cool. And that is how you copy and paste paths from Illustrator into After Effects. Let's see, what else do you need to know? Yeah, let's see. We've gone over everything needs to be on its own layer. Organize yourself for your be kind to your future self. All right, so we've gone over everything needs to be on its own layer. Organize for your future self. Oh yeah, another thing you can't do in Illustrator, After Effects does not recognize multiple art boards. It's a nice feature for maybe storyboarding and designing and making lots of different things in Illustrator, but you can't bring different artboards into After Effects. I believe it only recognizes the first one. Once you've brought your things into After Effects and you've been animating, note that, let's do an example. Don't mess with your Illustrator files too much. Some things that are easy to update in Illustrator that don't mess up After Effects would be things like color. That's fine. Let's say you're like, this needs to be a green Klondike bar. And there, that's the most beautiful green Klondike bar I've ever designed. Come in here, and it will, I gotta save it. Save it in here. Come into After Effects, bam. Any animations that I would have had on this guy would stay the same. All right, the quickest animation is just to move this guy. So this thing moves, you change the color, it doesn't change anything, you're good to go. Where this might cause some problems is, let's say you've got some beautiful rotation animation going on here. Wow, that's the most beautiful rotation animation on a green Klondike bar I've ever done. All right, but in Illustrator, let's say you're like, okay, the shape of this guy needs to be different. And you're like, there, that's definitely what needs to happen. And you save it here, and you go into After Effects. Now all of a sudden, things are off and wonky and not doing at all what you want them to do. It does basically the same thing, but now everything's kind of off, not the way you would expect it. And that has to do with the way anchor points work in After Effects. So everything moves around this anchor point, which I can move with the anchor point tool, but once you've animated, it's also hard to move the anchor point. Anyways, basically what I'm trying to say is, don't mess with your Illustrator files too much. Feel free to change the color and internal shapes. If you're offsetting things from where they are from the center and it's making the bounding box go wider, like taller or wider, you might run into this problem where you're messing up your animations in After Effects. All right, so now I want to show you why I actually import sometimes using the document size setting. Let's bring up the same thing here, KDemo, open. So using document size, I wouldn't use it for this piece, but I will show you the pieces that I have used this on. This guy right here, since all the letters rotate around the center point and they actually scale from the center. So if it's scaling from the center, it makes it just get a little bit smaller when it goes down and just a little bit bigger when it goes up. It was really easy to animate these things because the anchor points for all of the elements in this animation were right in the center. So if you're doing things like animating scale and rotation from the very center, that's basically the only time that I would import using document size. All right, that about does it. Remember, stay organized, name your layers, separate things into separate layers, and when you're importing, choose composition and layer size. Hope you have a good one. Use this knowledge for good. Go make something move.